Yet again, looking at a beautiful Amano shrimp here. This is a lemon yellow Amano shrimp, enjoying some shrimp food. And on the menu tonight, we're feeding this yellow Amano shrimp Aqueon brand food. This is Aqueon Omnivore shrimp food that this shrimp is eating. And I'll show you that container here. Aqueon Omnivore Daily Nutrition for All Shrimp. And we'll look at the back here because it's got some pretty interesting ingredients. It says this is sinking discs that's formulated for freshwater shrimp and crustaceans, protein-focused diet, and it's got no fish meal, which is probably why it smells good, at least to me. It smells decent for a fish food or shrimp food. Nutrients for exoskeletal growth and color enhancers. But this is a yellow Amano shrimp, not commonly seen. No, not a Neocaridina shrimp. This is a Amano shrimp. And as you can see, she's saddled with eggs. And then behind her, we've got another female saddled with eggs. Well, let's take a look here. You can actually see the mouth parts moving. And if you look, there's kind of a dark spot in front of where those eggs are. And that dark spot is where they process the food. Colorful Amano shrimp are really a trip. I mean, they're unlike any wild Amano shrimp you'll come across as far as how colorful they are, obviously. And they've only been available in America for about a year now. And a lot of people I've talked to don't even know they exist, believe it or not. They've never heard of colorful Amano shrimp because their local pet store is not able to get them. And so they've just never come across them and never heard of them, which is kind of interesting to me. And what's cool about these white Amano shrimp is you can actually see that green behind the eyes. That's algae that they've been eating. It's pretty amazing. But these Amano shrimp here, the snow white, that looks like a male with another male behind it. They're both eating that same Aqueon food, the sinking shrimp pellets. And what's really cool, especially on these clear ones or white ones, is you'll see their digestive tract, that poop line going down the shrimp's back. You'll actually see it start to turn the same color as the food they're eating. So here in about 20 minutes, as the food enters that digestive tract, they'll poop out some of that brown stuff and you'll see it start to become that strange looking uh, red color. They are kind of a translucent color. They're not exactly clear like a ghost shrimp, especially IRL. They're pretty white looking. And once the females of this variety get pregnant, they have white eggs. And that's where they get the name Snowball. So let's go back over to these red ones and check this girl out. Large and in charge. She's got a ton of eggs there under her tail. That's kind of a wild look at the red Amano shrimp, enjoying some of that Aqueon food. But wow, that's a lot of eggs underneath the tail of this shrimp. And believe it or not, this is a young red Amano shrimp, and this is her first pregnancy. So that's actually not that many eggs compared to how many eggs she'll have once she fully is mature. And they'll also have those eggs on their back that are developing. Those eggs on their back is pretty much their ovaries. And so as soon as those babies that are in the eggs under the shrimp's tail hatch, those eggs that are on her back, she'll move them down to under her tail. And then she'll get saddled up on her back again with fresh eggs. And it's just a constant process of having babies. They really are a prolific breeding shrimp. So it's really a cool process. These Amano shrimp are incredibly good at eating algae, and they will even eat decaying plant material if you've got plants that have leaves on them that are melting, which that's a normal part of any planted aquarium or aquascape. And I'm pretty sure that in this particular aquascape here, I'm pretty sure they're able to eat that Susswassertang that's in the back. I think that it's thin enough that these Amano shrimp are able to eat it because I don't see a single bit of hair algae or any other kind of algae in here that would make them green behind the head like we see in those white ones in the next tank over. We'll take another look at those here shortly. These Amano shrimp don't have any markings. They're just they're just kind of a solid white color, and it really gives them a much different appearance than the red Amano shrimp. Very interesting to watch them eat. Their whiskers are really, really long too, those antennas. But look at that little red Amano shrimp. Very, very, very tiny. But we've got a really nice small Amano shrimp there. So the way that I'm breeding the Sun Orange Amano shrimp is I would definitely keep this particular shrimp, assuming that it keeps this saturated red coloration. And then depending on its male or female, I would replace one of the shrimp in my adult breeding colony with this one, assuming there's one in there that's less red than this. Over time, I hope to be able to get some very red Amano shrimp. You've probably heard, if you've heard anything about breeding Amano shrimp, you've probably heard about how hard it is. And I've developed some methods to breeding them and raising the babies that make it easier than it's ever been in the history of the hobby. So check out the channel. So if you're into fish keeping, if you talk to your local fish club or if you go to your local pet store or fish store and just talk to people and ask them, hey, would you buy colorful Amano shrimp? Would you buy white Amano shrimp or red or orange? Or would you trade for fish or for plants or some other kind of shrimp or maybe some snails? You'd be surprised. You might get an aquarium in trade for some Amano shrimp. But these Amano shrimp are a trip. They're really cool looking. And within the last year or so, this is the first time in the history of the aquarium hobby that we've been able to get colorful Amano shrimp. They've just never been available before this. It's so amazing that through selective breeding, we've been able to just figure these mutations out. But this guy is really cool looking. The way that that green kind of contrasts with the white behind his head. And you can see that green color perfectly matches that plant that he's standing on. And I'm pretty sure they're able to scrape off pieces of that plant. It's almost like a freshwater seaweed. It's called Susswassertang. And it's a little bit like moss, but it's very thin and it has kind of a seaweed look and texture to it. And I'm almost positive these Amano shrimp snack on it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. On the next live stream, I'll be feeding these Amano shrimp some bloodworms. And if you've never seen Amano shrimp eat bloodworms before, oh, do they go wild for the bloodworms. So they'll be chasing each other all over the aquarium, trying to steal them from each other. It's really a blast to see. These white Amano shrimp are also really cool. I say the yellow ones are my favorite, but to be honest, I really do like all of them. It's hard not to because for so long, the hobby has only had that wild type Amano shrimp available. So if you don't have an aquarium yet, get one of these 2.5 gallons from Petco or PetSmart. They're like 12 bucks. You don't need a substrate, but if you want, put any kind of substrate in there. It doesn't matter. I just have a little tiny bit of substrate in these, like just enough to cover up the bottom glass. And in this one, I have a really small multicolored gravel. It's kind of a bunch of different shades of brown. And in the rest of these, it's just aqua soil. It's a very, very thin layer, just enough to take the reflection off of the bottom glass. And it also, I think the aqua soil makes everything look fancier. So you get you one of these 2.5 gallons, you put some water in there, get 5 adult Amano shrimp. Now, if you can get them from your local pet store, you want to get 3 females and 2 males. I've got videos on a playlist on my channel that'll tell you all about getting your first Amano shrimp and males and females. But you want to get 2 males and 3 females if you can. But if you're going to order them online, you're just luck of the draw. But starting out with 5 of them, I'm pretty sure you're going to end up with at least 1 male and 1 female out of the 5. And that's all it takes to end up with pregnant Amano shrimp that just have hundreds and hundreds of those eggs under their tail. And from that point, it's really no effort at all. You just wait for those baby Amano shrimp to hatch. That's it. You wait for them to hatch. You move them to the grow out tank. I've got instructions on how to put that together on my channel. It's very, very easy, very low effort. And I feed them a powdered food once a day. Very, very easy. And after that, you just get to stare at them. That's it. You don't have to mess with them. There's not a bunch of maintenance to be done on the grow out tank. And that has worked fine for me. But your independent or individual tanks, your experience may vary, your mileage may vary. But for the most part, they have a very low bioload. That means that compared to having a tank full of fish, you're not going to have as much of a mess to clean up, but that is dependent on how much you feed these pet shrimp. So if you've never had any kind of aquarium shrimp before, don't be intimidated on getting a mono shrimp. Don't think that you need to get Neocaridina shrimp or something like that as a beginner shrimp. I mean, they're great shrimp, Neocaridina shrimp, but Amano shrimp are just as easy to take care of, and they're in much higher demand. So I appreciate you checking out the video. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to